A friend asked me recently, and it's not the first time someone has asked me this, how do you do it all? I'm mum to a 3-month-old baby currently, and I have a toddler. I've just launched my 3rd published book. I also have quite a busy job that has lots of different parts to it. On one side, I'm running this women's adventure community with tens of thousands of members. Alongside writing books, I give public talks, and that quite often means that I'm traveling all over the country with my family. I also have a number of side projects that I'm working on, including this YouTube channel. And on top of all that, I still find time to see friends and to have lots of quiet, lovely, slow days at home, enjoying life, going for walks, having lazy mornings, all the good stuff in life. So how is it that I do it all? It's a good question, and actually there are lots of different answers and lots of different reasons why I think I managed to live such a big and full life. But one of the main reasons is that I'm really good at simplifying things. Life is complicated. Our society put loads of pressure on us to be busy and to do loads of things. So as much as possible, I try to put systems in place, and I try to focus on things at home and in my life that make things as easy as possible. So in this video, I'm going to reveal 17 things that I have quit that have given me more headspace, more time, more money to focus on the things that really mattered to me. The first on the list is drinking caffeine. Now this might seem like a bit of a strange one, but there are loads of people out there that have a caffeine addiction, and that means that in their days, multiple times they have to stop whatever they're doing to go get a hit of caffeine. Now don't get me wrong, I'm British. I absolutely love a good cup of tea. However, I've never got into the habit of drinking a hot drink at a specific time each day, or needing to be reliant on that to get up or go in the morning. Instead, I use perhaps my coffee breaks when I would have been making a hot drink to do 10 minutes of yoga or go for a walk, or something that's more important for me. Both myself and my husband have quit working for other people. This wasn't an easy process. It took several years building up side hustles and pursuing qualifications to find a way to work for ourselves, but it really was an incredible thing that we've done. It's given us so much more freedom and flexibility in our lives, and it means that we've been able to pursue careers that give us real passion and purpose in life. Now we've spent several years working for ourselves, I don't think either of us will ever be going back to working for other people. A few years ago, we made the decision to quit having a TV. We had gotten into this really annoying habit of just having it on in the background, and there was always news or some kind of program going on. And then in the evenings, it was such a default that as soon as we had put the kids to bed, or as soon as we'd finished with our work day, the first thing we would do was put the TV on. We do still watch films and series, but I've now switched to using a projector, and we absolutely love it. The process of putting the projector on is much more of a conscious decision, and you set it up and we dim the lights and we really enjoy the viewing experience. But most importantly, using the projector means that we have to specifically choose something to watch. Since quitting TV, we had so much more time to pursue things such as making videos, reading, or doing courses that we really wanted to do, or retraining, and suddenly our evenings were a lot more varied rather than mostly just sitting watching stuff. Did you know that the average person consumes 113 hours of news a year? That's a hell of a lot of time to be wasting on reading negativity. It wasn't saving time that convinced me to quit reading and watching the news, but it was actually the impact it was having on my mental health. I'm quite a sensitive person, and I was finding that I was reading about all these sad things that were happening, and I was really absorbing that, and it was making me really miserable. And I'd quite often latch onto these news stories that I'd heard, and they would replay in my head, and they would keep me up at night. And then I just realized, why do I need this in my life? Life is hard enough as it is. I have my own battles to deal with, and I will have sadness in my life without having to take on the worries of the whole world and all the other bad things that are happening. We all know that news is biased and that it focuses on bad stories because bad stories sell. And I decided I no longer wanted to buy into that anymore, so I quit news entirely. Another thing I've quit is scheduling something every day. I think we're so guilty of this, especially in our busy societies that we all live in, where you're just full of doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, seeing friends, birthday parties, work dues. It's just non-stop. There was one month where I looked back in my diary. I'm still quite old school and keep a paper diary, and I saw that I had something written every single day that month. We're not meant to be driven by clocks and appointments all the time. We need to have space in our lives where there's nothing to do for a day, where we can wake up, have a lazy morning, go for a walk, just see what the day is like, just see how you're feeling, and do whatever you want to do. Since that realization, obviously work and childcare still needs to happen, but I make sure that outside of that, we have 2 or 3 days in the week where nothing is scheduled. This has massively simplified our lives and given us the headspace to then on the other days be able to cope with being busy and getting lots of tasks done. As you know, I don't own a lot of things, but one thing I own that's really important for me is a journal. Every day I try and find time to sit down and journal, even if just for a few minutes, to share my thoughts and my feelings in that moment, but more importantly, to write down things I'm grateful for. Now is the time to quit being ungrateful for things, because finding gratitude in your life is absolutely life-changing. If you can get into the habit of writing down or saying 10 things every single day that you are grateful for, you'll realize that even on the hard days when your mood are low or there's bad things going on externally, there is always good to be found. Let's talk about shopping. Now, if you follow our channel, you'll know that we are minimalists and we pretty much hate shopping. We got rid of all our stuff when we decided to quit our jobs and go do a massive 1,000 kilometer hike, and that was a really transformative experience. After we got rid of all our stuff and had spent 2 months living out of a rucksack, we realized having less really does feel like having more. Even though we now have a home and are not on the move all the time, we've maintained that minimalist lifestyle. Life is much simpler when you aren't online or in the shops all the time looking for your next purchasing dopamine hit. While we're on the topic of consumption, I also wanted to talk about phones. I've actually broken one of my rules and I've brought my phone into my bedroom. Phones are banned from our bedroom. That's not the only way that we control our phone use. In our house, we have a rule that before dinner, the phones are turned off and they're put into a separate room, and they don't get turned on again until after breakfast the next day. Frees up time, it stops you on that addiction cycle of just being on social media non-stop, and it gives you time to work on other things. We made a really conscious decision to outsource certain things in our life to free up time for things that matter more to us. One of those things is cleaning. We have a cleaner, she's incredible, and we pay her to come and clean our house. Obviously, having a cleaner costs money, but we would prefer to spend the hours that we would have spent cleaning working on our own jobs, because we love what we do and that brings us a lot of passion and satisfaction. It's no different than having a business and outsourcing certain work or having employees to help you run that business. You can treat your home life exactly the same. I love this next one, and I could talk loads on this topic. I have quit trying to entertain my children. When my daughter was first born, I fell into the trap of trying to provide as much entertainment as I could for her. I was buying loads of toys, I would set up arts and crafts, and our weekends were full of play dates, birthdays, soft plays. It was actually reading a book called Hunt, Gather, Parent. I love this book so much, that changed my way of thinking about how I parent. It made me realize a number of things. The first was that for me and my husband, doing all this stuff was really boring, and we'd often just be sat on the side watching our daughter play, counting down the hours until she goes to bed. But that's not being a family or being in a tribe with other people, because when you live with other people, it's about doing things that everybody enjoys and being conscious that other people have things that they enjoy that are different to yours. So instead now, we focus on doing stuff that we all enjoy as a family, such as going for a walk, going for a picnic, going to the beach. It's not anyone else's responsibility to entertain you, so why should it be any different for our children? We then also started to get rid of toys that we had in the house, and we realized that actually our daughter didn't care at all. The more we learned into this way of parenting, the more she would start using her imagination to start thinking of ways to play and entertain. This was without doubt the best decision we've made as parents. It's massively simplified our life. Another thing I've quit is the need to look good all the time. This is actually quite a big thing. I used to wear makeup every day, and I used to spend a lot of time and money on my hair, on clothes, on trying to look a certain way or keep up with fashion. I now have a minimalist wardrobe. We all do as a family. That's something I'm looking forward to sharing more on the channel. Another thing I've quit, which has had a massive impact on my life, is comparing myself to others. Now, this was a little bit of a journey. It didn't happen overnight. Of course, we all have comparisons affirmations in all areas of your life. I did lots of reading, journaling, meditating around the topic of comparing myself to other people, and over time I have lost the need to look at what other people are doing and measure myself against them, because I've realised we really are all on a journey and a race only against ourselves. Goodbye comparisons, hello self-worth. It's a good place to be. I apologise to any friends watching this. Another thing I've quit is answering the phone. I rarely answer my phone. I realised that I actually don't really like speaking on the phone. I much prefer seeing people in real life, or if we have to communicate via a phone, I prefer a voice note or a message. But also answering the phone literally takes so much time. I can end up on a conversation with a friend and suddenly an hour and a half has passed easy, and it was exactly the same for meetings at work, so I decided to ditch those as well. Another thing I've quit when it comes to work to keep things simple is the idea that I have to work midweek. This is a bit of a strange one, but actually I found that trying to cram my work into a Monday to Friday routine just wasn't working for me, and when I let go of that and I allowed myself a lot more flexibility to actually tune in with myself and my body, the changes I saw were massive. If I wake up on a Monday morning and I'm sluggish and I'm tired and I don't feel like working, there is no point me forcing myself to work that day. It's much more effective for me to take some time off. Equally, if I wake up on a Saturday and I've got loads of energy and I've got some new ideas to put into work, then I don't feel like, oh, you have to not work today because it's a Saturday and everyone else is taking time off. So we haven't just quit the 9 to 5 as a family, we've also quit the Monday to Friday. Life is fluid, our bodies are fluid, our energy ebbs and flows, and we've decided as a family we're just going to roll with that. Next on the list is exercising. For some reason we seem to think that exercising needs to be an hour long and go into a class and dedicating a certain space in your day to specifically getting sweaty and moving the body. Instead, I focus on doing small bits of exercise throughout the day, and for me that's usually going for a short walk or doing a little bit of 5-10 minute stretching and yoga. I always have my yoga mat out ready to go, and I found that as a whole I'm doing way more minutes of exercise. Really, this is about letting go of set expectations on how we're meant to exercise and instead finding a way to make it work for you and your body. Another thing I've quit is staying up late. I found that the knock-on effect of having a late night is so big on me now. It will last a couple of days and I'll feel really groggy and tired. Of course, sometimes I stay up late if I'm at a festival, if I'm at a party, if I just want to let my hair down and have a really good time. But as a general rule, I make a real effort to be in bed at a reasonable time. I love to have an hour before bed to read my book, to really wind down before the end of the day. And the last thing I have quit, and this is a big one, I have quit FOMO. I am so guilty of having FOMO, fear of missing out. Like whenever my friends were meeting or at a party or someone would text, would you want to do this? I would just say yes, 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 yes to everything, because I would worry that I was missing out. It was like actually a physical feeling, like a tension in me if I knew other people were meeting up and I wasn't there. But maybe this has come with age, but it's also a little bit just conscious of me trying to practice this. I've really let go of that, and instead I lean into JOMO, joy of missing out. You guys go ahead, have your parties, meet up. I am quite happy staying at home, doing things for myself, focusing on the stuff that brings me joy and purpose in life. It took me a while to realize, but there is so much joy in saying no. Hopefully this video has given you a few ideas of things that you might be able to quit or change in your life just to make things a little bit more simple. Remember that the whole point of minimalism and simple living is not getting rid of everything. It's just being more conscious about what you spend your money on and what you spend your time on. Before you disappear, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.